Welcome to Study Loop.
Here we are looking at the expression of certain proteins on cancer cells. So here we have the overexpression of a protein receptor, namely the estrogen receptor. So you can imagine that inside the body you would have two types of cells. You would have normal cells and you would have the cancerous cells. So here the difference that we're looking at between them is the expression of those estrogen receptors. So of course, the receptor is going to bind a molecule of estrogen, whereas in the cancer cell, since you have more receptors, they're able to bind more molecules of estrogen. And of course, if you remember the function of estrogen, this is going to cause the increase of growth and development of the cell. So inside the cancer cell, where they have many times greater the binding of estrogen, they're going to have many times greater the rate of growth and development. So that's going to cause that uncontrollable nature of the cancer cell, which can be harmful to the individual. So here in this question, they give us multiple types of receptors, such as the VEGF, we have the ER receptor, and we are also given the EGFR. So these are types of receptors often found in cells that are going to look for these growth factors, which is what GF stands for. So VEGF will work on blood vessels. ER here probably stands for estrogen receptor. Another common term you might hear this called is HER2, which stands for human epithelial growth factor receptor, which many breast cancer cells will be HER2 positive. And EGFR is just a common epithelial growth factor receptor. So here the one that is going to best respond to a targeted therapy for those breast cancer cells is going to be this estrogen receptor cell. Because if you imagine we have an antibody that's going to target these receptors and we pair a cytotoxic molecule or a poison, you can imagine that this normal cell will obtain or be bound to one of those harmful molecules, whereas the cancer cell would be bound to multiple. So a targeted therapy is going to target more of these cancer cells than, say, these normal cells, and is going to cause greater destruction of those cancer cells instead. So here the best answer choice for this question is going to be C, that the best targeted therapy for breast cancer cells is going to be those expressing this ER alpha receptor, or that estrogen receptor.